We should be live now. What's up, ladies and gents? Hopefully your Friday night was amazing and your Saturday's off to a lovely start as well. We're going to talk some night baseball tonight or right now. And wish you all best of luck as you try to take down some of those fat GPP stacks.
Yes, we are going to talk over night baseball, but talk it over right now. So it was a little bit of a tongue twister. I get it.
All right, guys. Before you do anything, if you want NBA info and MLB info simultaneously, both weekly and monthly memberships at the website below offer that. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it, and if you could do me the fine courtesy of clicking the thumbs up button, I would be forever in your debt. As far as pitchers go today, there's a couple of guys coming in with heavy chalk. Gossman is one of those guys. He's my personal favorite. We're still kind of evaluating this one, going over it, but what I like about him is, one, he's been nothing short of sensational this year. Going to the San Francisco Giants was clearly the best thing that could have happened for Kevin Gossman's career, as he's really turned it around over there. Solid winning organization. They figured some things out for him because he's been phenomenal. We're looking at 23 plus DK points in 7 straight, just cutting up everybody that comes in his direction. There's no way he should still be below 9K, and he gets a Cubs team that strikes out at a very high rate.
Sorry, I was on mute because the dogs are going crazy downstairs. But, man, I know that we've been on Gausman, specifically you've been on Gausman for most of the year. I know you've always been a fan. And like you mentioned, this is just the best thing that could have ever happened to his career was going to San Francisco. They've seemed to really, really turn his career around. He's right up there, with DeGrom, Woodruff, we mentioned on the members only video for the NL Cy Young if the season ended today. I mean, the numbers say it all. The game log says it all. 30 plus in most of his starts. I think he's only dropped below 20 once all year. I mean, if you don't like that, I don't know what you like.
Yeah, that was, I think, the first start of the year, too. So I'll even cut him a little bit of slack for that one. So he should not be 8,900. And that's just, it is what it is. So we'll keep moving on down the list. Let's head on over to Coors Field. And just a note for anybody playing today. Coors Field's going to be insane chalk, specifically the Oakland Athletics side. I got Mark Kanya as the cash lock of the day. Dude's on fire now with 3 straight big games in a row. He is way too cheap given where he is in the matchup. He's going to be huge chalk. He loves facing left-handed pitching. This is just a kiss pick. What I mean by that is keep it simple, stupid. If you're playing cash games, you're playing Mark Kanya.
Yeah, leading off for an Oakland team in a good spot against Freeland. Now he's too cheap. Kanya was a little bit too pricey for a while. Now he's too cheap. You plug him in and move on, and he's a risky fade in GPPs.
Yeah, we were talking about this one for a while in members only. And the idea of being contrarian on this slate because of how chalky the Athletics will be makes a lot of sense. The hard part is we don't have another offense we love. So maybe play a little Oakland and sprinkle it in with something else. Either way, this is a piece of Oakland, but he's going to be insanely chalky. So even if he goes off today and you have him, you're not getting the bump on anybody.
Yeah, I get it both ways. On the flip side, if he goes off, you're going to need him. So If you think he goes off, just play him and try to get different elsewhere.
All right, next up, JP Crawford. So there's a lot of good cheap plays in the slate. We're about to walk through 3 of them. Crawford now with 13 plus and 3 of 4, sub 3K, batting leadoff. I mean, he's way too cheap.
Yeah, right. He just looks like a perfect cog in the machine type, especially, if you want to spend up on both pitchers, spend up on an expensive stack. Again, since they moved into the leadoff spot, you mentioned it, 13 plus and 3 of 4. Hit a leadoff homer off Ohtani last night. Flew out to the deepest part of the park in another at-bat. He's just seeing the ball really well right now. And this is a kid that's always had a lot of talent, either cousin or nephew of Carl Crawford, and they do a lot of the same things. So, kind of an all-around type game, does the things DK rewards.
Carl Crawford. Man, if you want to kick it back old school, do you remember him being a first-round fantasy pick? God, that seems like just ages ago. Probably because it was ages ago.
For Tampa. And then it seemed like his career went really down in the Dodgers and Red Sox.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about that. Speaking of the Red Sox, let's talk about Alex Verdugo. This is another guy. He's way too cheap. This guy's a good hitter. Why is he only 3,100? Going up against Jameson Taillon tonight. Taillon is a very mediocre pitcher, maybe a little bit above, but he hasn't really pitched like an above-average pitcher for the majority this year, so we're certainly not scared to pick a bat, 2 bats, 3 bats against him. And Verdugo at 3,100 seems criminally low. Now, he's not coming off of a monster night, but you pointed out, hit the ball hard several times last night with no luck. not really his fault. That happens to baseball players all the time. So feeling well, 3,100, solid matchup, way too cheap.
What would you grade Ty on as a letter grade?
I think he's a C plus B minus guy, but I think he's pitched like a C pitcher this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's somewhere in between there. I was going to say C plus, but I think he's ultimately better than that. Like at his best, he's like
B.
B plus, yeah, B to potentially B plus pitcher.
Yeah, but he hasn't pitched like a B pitcher
No.
this year, so we have no problems pulling a couple bats against them. These
Agreed.
mediocre to slightly above average pitchers, they have plenty of bad seasons, and maybe it's just a bad start of the year, moving over to the AL, pitching for the Yankees. Maybe just this isn't its place to be, but either way, he's been firmly mediocre this year.
Yep, I agree with you all over.
I'll pick bats against, him or DeGrom, or versus like DeGrom or Gausman.
For sure.
All right, so now we're going to shift over to Alex Dickerson, another very affordable bat on the slate. So the obvious play is Oakland today. We discussed it already. Everybody knows it. They are going to be crazy chalk. You know who's not getting any love? The San Francisco Giants. Now, again, they're not the sexiest of names, but Alex Dickerson coming off a big night. And I used a bunch of Padres against Cole Stewart the other day. He was pretty good. The Padres weren't. That doesn't mean Cole Stewart is good. So I think this Giant sleeper stack is kind of appealing for a team getting like no ownership projection love.
Yeah, not getting any love. Dickerson's a guy that's proven in these matchups against mediocre righties. He's got good power upside. The San Fran lineup is not getting any love. They're affordable, in a good spot on paper. They don't have the most attractive lineup on paper. That's okay. I mean, they're playing well. They've been good all year. And again, not that Dickerson is probably the top overall piece at that price point. This is more about just talking about the stack as a whole.
So for any of you guys that are only lukewarm baseball fans and really just you prefer DFS and you need to get your fix in, I would challenge you all, go look up the standings of the NL West right now and just see how well the San Francisco Giants team has played.
Yeah, because you wouldn't think of it because the lineup has a lot of unrecognizable names.
You wouldn't think that their record in the way that the NL West looks is the way it would look unless you're really paying attention to it. They're having a nice season, and they're a very professional organization.
Yeah, agreed all the way around.
All right, guys, best of luck tonight. Click that thumbs up button, and we will see you guys later.
Thanks, guys.